Well, what's happening YouTube? It's me again. It's Jamil from jackedbyjdsb.com. Today, I just wanna a bit. I just wanna talk a bit about metformin's applications in bodybuilding, powerlifting, or just CrossFit in sports in general. Since most people think black and white, and some people do say that metformin use there is no reason to use metformin. It's full of garbage. It's just nonsense. And some people claim that it raises insulin sensitivity enormously, and thus you just make more gains. But the reality is something in between, and we're gonna a bit discuss. I'm gonna present a slide about it. As always, I still haven't. Excuse me. Haven't found a better way to do videos. If you have a suggestion, just comment down below. Feel free to comment below. And it is a biguanide that was forgotten and resurrected, literally resurrected later on because of the safety profiles of the other biguanides. I said resurrected for a reason, because the other biguanides was much more powerful than metformin, but they also had higher risk of lactic acidosis, which still something, let's say, less relevant for metformin, because benefit to risk ratio was much more favorable for metformin. So, in long story short, they forgot what metformin was, and later on it just re-entered the market. And for the most of the world in 21st century nowadays, it's the only biguanide on the market. Well, the question is how it works, like the question that we must ask. Most people just don't realize how it works. Again, as always, most people won't get it, but my dear followers are gonna get it, hopefully. It decreases liver gluconeogenesis, which means that liver cannot generate glucose from other sources like amino acids, and when it doesn't that, what happens? Your blood glucose levels decrease. It decreases AMPK, adenosine monophosphate activated kinase. It's one of the probably the biggest energy sensor in our cells. Yes, it does detect the ratio of AMP and ADP to ATP ratio. So when you let's say you increase your muscle protein synthesis for a period long, for let's say 3 hours or so, when your muscle protein synthesis decrease, your AMPK is going to increase. They just act oppositely. When AMPK increases, mTOR decreases, or the vice versa. Also, one of the least known mechanisms, metformin's mechanisms on protein synthesis is this: it decreases mTOR independent of AMPK. As I've said, AMPK decreases mTOR. And also metformin itself, the molecule itself, decreases mTOR too. And also, probably one of the most beneficial effects of metformin is it has antioxidant antioxidant effects. Let's shed a bit of light that how increased AMPK leads to increased insulin sensitivity. When you activate AMPK, it increases GLUT4 translocation, which is how your cells uptake the glucose. They take glucose from bloodstream to inside of cells after insulin interacts with insulin receptor and GLUT4 translocation starts, and the glucose uptake begins after that. So let's say in a mathematical equation, you need less insulin per GLUT4 translocation. Well, before explaining the scheme, as you see, I highly recommend you to research how metformin works in cancer patients, also in burn patients. It will likely to answer almost all of your questions about metformin and its mechanism of work, mechanism of action. The indirect effects of metformin are, as I've said previously, it decreases the gluconeogenesis, and as a result, you're gonna have lower blood glucose levels, which means your body is going to secrete, your pancreas is going to secrete less insulin to maintain healthy blood sugar levels, right? That's how it decreases the circulating insulin. The second indirect mechanism is, as I said, it increases the insulin sensitivity, right? So you need less insulin to maintain healthy blood glucose levels, less insulin per GLUT4 translocation. And the direct mechanism is, as you can see, metformin, the molecule itself. Hopefully I can find my mouse cursor. Yes, I found it. The metformin activates the AMPK, and as a result, it inhibits mTOR, AMPK itself. And second of all, it inhibits mTOR independent of AMPK. And also, you can see that AMPK activates an inhibitor of mTOR. The final result is decreased protein synthesis, decreased proliferation, and growth. Many people think that the metformin is going to decrease their IGF-1 levels, right? And yes, it does that too. But there is a reason why it decreases IGF-1. Your body doesn't think that, oh, I have metformin, so for no reason I'm going to decrease my IGF-1 levels. No, your body doesn't think like that. The reality is, excuse me again, metformin decreases the insulin levels, and that's the biggest thing that affects your IGF-1 levels. As I've presented in my previous videos, in my previous slides, insulin can increase or decrease your IGF-1 levels. If you're deficient in insulin, aka type 1 diabetic, you're gonna have lower IGF-1 levels. And also starving kids in Africa have very high levels of growth hormone, but they have very little IGF. They're starving. Caloric status. If you're on a hypercaloric diet, your IGF-1 level going to decrease no matter what. So a lower IGF-1 level will be there if you are in a catabolic state in general. The question we must ask is whether lowered artificially, let's say lowered IGF-1 levels will result in a catabolic state. And the answer is not exactly a yes or no, but the correlation is not there like one-to-one, in a one-to-one ratio. Like, let's talk about it, tamoxifen, right? Most people use tamoxifen for prevent gynecomastia, the growth and enlargement of breast tissue, the glands. Most males use it as a part of PCD and a part of also in cycle, let's say 10 milligram to prevent glandular growth, and it does that. But does it result in a catabolic state? Does it prevent people from the old school androgen anabolic effects? Does it stop people from growing muscle? The answer is no, it does not that. Well, it depends on the dosage, etc., duration, but long story short, for most people, the effect is negligible. Also, metformin has many beneficial effects on various tissues. It has nephroprotective effects due to AMPK activation, decreased mTOR, and also it helps to regulate your blood glucose levels, which is likely to protect diabetic nephropathy, and it protects vasculature and prevents glucotoxicity. And glucose in excess is toxic due to various reasons. One of the reasons is osmotic shock. There are multiple reasons why glucose is toxic, excess glucose. And also, in burn patients, it increases the net protein balance. It prevents it does not exactly prevent muscle wasting, but it decreases the muscle wasting due to various reasons. Also, keep in mind that burn patients have enormously high free radical levels, and they develop insulin resistance. So, in a real-world application, who can benefit the most and who can benefit the least, right? It was a boring. That presentation was a bit boring. I gotta admit that. But here's the fun part: who can benefit the most and who can benefit the least? We know that anabolic steroids increases the reactive oxygen species, right? Free radicals. They do increase free radicals. And weight training does that in a sense too. If you take a look at what weight training does, is it increases inflammation, it increases your heart rate, blood pressure in short term. It looks like the worst thing you can do, but on the long term, if you look at it, it's one of the most beneficial things you can do for your health. And also, metformin has some positive effects and negative effects on skeletal muscle tissue. It's actually a toxin for mitochondria, in a sense. So it does prevent some adaptations from weight training and cardio training, cardio sessions, but it has some positive effects too. It depends who you are, what you're training for, what's your current drop, aka what's your drug protocol is. There is many factors that I haven't even addressed, but the more gear you take, the less relevant metformin's effect gets, which means, let's say you take 1500 milligrams of androgens a week, the 500 milligram of metformin is not likely to going to have any negative effect on your training or your hypertrophic response to your hypertrophic response, and the positive effects are likely to be there, highly be there. So, and also, if you take more insulin, more growth hormone on top of your current androgen use, guess what? The metformin's effects are irrelevant because you're on top of many drugs, and who may not benefit, right? Let's say you don't have high free radical levels naturally, and it might mean that somehow you don't take drugs that increases free radical levels, or let's say you take some drugs that increase free radical level, your free radicals, but not even close to drugs like boldenone, dianabol, etc., that has some nephrotoxic, neurotoxic, and they tremendously increase the free radical levels. Let's say you avoid those, and you naturally have lower free radical levels. The second reason who may not benefit is, let's say someone who takes already multiple antioxidant supplements and insulin sensitizers like alpha-lipoic acid. It's a great antioxidant supplement, but also it increases the insulin sensitivity. Berberine, it increases the AMPK, again, it increases the insulin sensitivity, right? Curcumin, it has some antioxidant effects. Let's say you take, also on top of those, you take high dose vitamin C, you take astaxanthin, and you take N-acetylcysteine, NAC. All of those have antioxidant effects. Also, vitamin C has been proved that it interferes with exercise adaptations if you take previous to your training session. Also, again, if you're already insulin sensitive, very insulin sensitive naturally, and if you don't inject, let's say, any androgen above TRT levels, chances are you might not benefit from berberine. It does not mean that you will not benefit at all or you will lose muscle, but surely you will benefit less. You won't get benefits of metformin as much as someone who has higher free radical levels. Also, keep in mind that if you take one supplement let's say berberine, alpha-lipoic acid, irrelevant. But when you take 5, 6, or 7 of them at once, yes, it does affect. Who may benefit the most? Someone who naturally has higher free radical levels. And also from what I've seen and what I've heard from other persons, and the people I talked with reported me that it seems like the individuals who has type 2 diabetes history in their family seems like they do respond better to metformin. Also, if you're training with a high volume program, right? If you're a high volume program, let's say 20 something set per muscle group, let's say your quads, 20 weeks, 20 sets, 25 sets is a high volume training. You will generate more reactive oxygen species. Also, if you already inject androgen, insulin, and growth hormone, the unfavorable, the bad effects or interference, the metformin's interference with adaptations get less irrelevant, get less relevant. It gets irrelevant. That's all I'm gonna say. As I've already said, I highly recommend all of you to take a look at the citations and take a look at the research I've cited and decide whether it has a positive or negative effects on you in general. If you're on a high volume program, maybe you might benefit. If you're not, you might not. It depends. As always, till next time, have a great day. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.